Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. It is that time of the offseason where the rumors, the speculation, the craziness, the wondering, the guessing games, all of that stuff begins to wind down a little bit. And we finally start getting some official announcements, some teams making some content, people getting to talk about their roster, people actually signing contracts, signing deals for years and money and all that stuff. And we start getting some more specifics. And it's, maybe not as totally interesting and as exciting as the time before when anything is possible, but it's still really, really cool to start seeing these teams round out their rosters, seeing what they have to say about them, and then starting to, analyze them from here and start getting to know the teams we're going to see in the 2022 LCS, LEC, and everywhere else seasons. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Some big official announcements coming from Cloud9. Do make sure you guys check out the first link in the description below for my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. I'd appreciate it a ton if you checked it out. And with that being said, let's get right into this one. I don't know exactly how much of this video we're going to react to, but I've already watched it, so I am not going to pretend like, these are my first time reactions or anything like that. But I think this video is very, very good. Worth watching. I'm actually a fan of what Cloud9 is doing here, both in terms of the roster they've constructed, but also the content they're putting out. Obviously, this video is called Our Offseason is Finally Over. Cloud9 LCS 2022 roster announcement from Cloud9 League of Legends. Make sure you guys drop a like on any, videos you're checking out, and let's go.
A majority of the work, the real stressful, wondering if someone's going to sign or not, work is done.
So top lane is Summit. I think that he mechanically in LCK, he outshined most of his counterparts, and I think that he was probably a top 4 top laner in LCK. Blabber is going to be the jungler. I think he's really, really good. Obviously, NA resident, probably the best NA resident jungler. Obviously, I'm going to be mid laner. The past week or so, I've been practicing mid lane, and I think I'm getting more comfortable on it every single day. In bot lane, we have Berserker, and Berserker is someone in Korea that's very, very young, and he's very hyped as a rookie because his mechanical ability it's very close to the top LCK ADCs. And lastly, we have support. This is something that is going to be decided later on because we have both Isles and Winsome. We're going to be doing a lot of internal scrims, basically playing against each other a lot and figuring out who's the better counterpart. And I think that right now, the starting 5.
So, yeah, there is obviously the full announcement of the roster. Not a 6-man roster per se. It sounds like it will be a 5-man roster, but obviously they're going to boot camp in Korea. They're probably even going to have the lock-in tournament, and maybe figure out who's going to be playing. I know that a lot of people heard, Isles was going to be considered for that support position, but it did seem like once Cloud9 signed Winsome, or was, reportedly signing Winsome or whatever, that made it, and Berserker, that it made it sound much more likely like Winsome would be playing. Obviously, a couple Korean players in the bot lane as opposed to a Korean player, and I think Isles is Australian, New Zealand, something like that. Yeah, apparently, Winsome and Isles are both being considered. We're going to see who the better man is. But Summit Blabber Fudge rolls off to the mid lane. I thought it was funny how he's like, yeah, for the past week, I've been practicing mid lane. Like, oh, all right, man, you're ready to go then. You got a weekend. Obviously, I get you have to start somewhere, and he has a ton of time, but it was just funny how he put it. He's like, yeah, I've been practicing for the last week. And then Berserker, who is such a big pickup. I'm so interested to see how good Berserker is going to be when we first see him, and then also how good he's going to be in the future. That is such a cool pickup. And then obviously the bot lane with Winsome and Isles, seeing who's the better man there. And yeah, really cool that Winsome was born in the United States or whatever, so he's going to be a resident. Isles obviously a resident from Osh. Interesting. I love what Cloud9's doing here, but I also really like this video with, getting to see Jack give his thoughts and opinions, but also Fudge in the video, getting to hear from him, featuring players in the content. It really seems like, they're kind of building around Fudge as that franchise player right now. Yeah, really, really cool stuff from Cloud9. I think the roster is very, very interesting. At times, it looked a little shaky, maybe Niski coming back, maybe Sven and Isles bot lane, maybe, it's a lot of different rosters were thrown around and stuff, but the one they ended up coming out with seems like it shouldn't have been too crazy expensive. Summit definitely wasn't cheap, but I'm not sure if Berserker and Winsome were all that expensive. They're selling off Vulcan. I think the team looks really, really interesting. Now, do I think Cloud9's going to beat Team Liquid? Am I picking them to beat Team Liquid or 100 Thieves at this point? No. But I think they're going to have a chance to compete for a world spot. Maybe compete for a title if things break their way, or if one of the teams, kind of doesn't play well. But I think they're also setting up for the future extremely well, which is really cool to see. And this kind of roster construction isn't something we've necessarily seen in the last few years in the LCS, so I think that's cool.
Is going to be Summit, Blabber, me, Berserker, and Winsome, or Isles. Obviously, we will depend on the Korean bootcamp.
And I'm sure everyone's got a huge question on what's going on with Sven. And Sven is a player we actually all believe in. He is an incredible player. He's got an excellent mindset. He works incredibly hard. He totally buys in our system. But he is also someone who totally believes the better player should win. And right now, for us, we're not sure who that better player is. I think it's very likely, in fact, that Sven might be better, and like for lock-in might be the right choice for Cloud9, but we don't know, and we're gonna have to go to the boot camp to figure that out.
So basically, the idea is that.
So that is actually kind of interesting. You know, a lot of people were wondering, like, yeah, is Sven gonna be kicked? Is he gonna be sold off? Is he going to academy? And it sounds like, at least for the time being, you know, who knows what's going to happen in spring split or between spring and summer or in summer split. It sounds like Cloud9 is going to be sticking with Sven. It sounds like Sven, you know, if he's not able to win the spot from Berserker, could be playing in Academy in 2022, which would be crazy. I mean, the fact that we could see Reckless and Crownshot and ERLs and Sven in Academy, you know, Cody Sun. We have all these veteran names in these under leagues, and it's going to be crazy. It's super good for those leagues in some ways. You know, those players are going to have stiff competition, which I think is good to grow against. Like other players in Academy or ERLs or stuff, getting to lane and play against Reckless or Sven, like that's going to really help them improve. Now, I know people are going to be like, oh, why would you waste an Academy spot on Sven? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, Sven can help out the Cloud9 Academy team. He can help out the other Academy player. Like, you don't want it to only be bad young players. Like, there's not that many good young players that every single spot needs to be, you know, a young player. And also, what if Berserker doesn't work out? What if Sven pops off? What if Sven is motivated by this? You know, it sounds like at this point, Cloud9 is not counting out Sven playing in lock-in, in spring split, in the future. Who knows? And even though the projected start at 5, you know, doesn't have Sven in it, sounds like they're going to be hanging on to him and that they could have him play at some point. I know they also talk about in this video how Fudge is really excited for mid lane. He thinks he is, you know, going to be a top mid laner by the time spring split starts. He says he thinks Summit is probably a better top laner than him right now. So, you know, he sees Summit as an upgrade in the top lane, where top lane was already a strength for Cloud9. Hopefully he sees himself as a, you know, an upgrade in the mid lane. Maybe not an upgrade over Perks, but like a strong point in the mid lane, and maybe he can get to, you know, a place where Perks was before too long. Also, he talks a little bit about how they felt, you know, Summit coming into the top lane was just stronger than some of the other mid lane options, which is funny when you hear about the whole Niski situation and some of their other different options, stuff like that. And also talks about the fact that Blabber is focusing on his mistakes heading into this offseason. You know, his weaknesses, his mistakes, the stuff that's kind of holding him and the team back. He's not shying away from those things. He's acknowledging them. He's trying to get better. He is actively trying to work on things. And that is very cool, because if we see a new and improved, refocused Blabber in 2022, that could be very scary. I think the Fudge move to mid has a very high chance of working. I think Cloud9 is going to get a ton out of this Korean boot camp. I love the stuff they're doing in terms of content, in terms of the team, in terms of the roster. It might not work out. Not every roster works out. Not every move works out. But man, on paper, does this seem pretty good? So kudos to Cloud9 for you know, getting the job done, having a good offseason. Maybe not the one that everyone expected, but I'm pretty impressed. I like the direction the team's headed. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Cloud9 roster heading into 2022. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!